Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. And if you think the coins jingling in your pocket right now are just pocket change, I need you to stop everything you're doing and pay very close attention, because what I am about to share with you today could literally change your life forever. Every single day, millions of Americans reach into their wallets, toss a quarter onto a counter, drop it into a vending machine, never once suspecting that the coin they just gave away could have been worth more than a luxury penthouse in Manhattan. What if I told you that one specific quarter, minted right here on American soil, has been valued by serious collectors at a jaw-dropping, mind-bending $45 million? That's right, I said $45 million, and we're talking about a coin that looks, at first glance, completely ordinary. We're talking about the 2002 P Louisiana State Quarter, and by the time this script is done, you're going to know exactly what to look for, exactly why this coin commands such an extraordinary price, and exactly how you can check your own collection right now to see if fortune has already found you. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end, because later in today's video we have not one, but two more coins coming up that are going to absolutely blow your mind. Coins with values and stories that make even this one seem like just the warm-up. So do not touch that back button, because what is coming later is even more unbelievable. But first, let's talk about this incredible piece of American history, the 2002 P Louisiana State Quarter. Now, to understand why this coin is so extraordinary, you have to understand the era in which it was born. The year was 2002, and the United States Mint was in the middle of one of the most ambitious numismatic programs in modern history. The 50 State Quarters program, launched back in 1999 under the authority of the 50 States Commemorative Coin Program Act. The concept was brilliant. Every year, a new set of state-themed designs would be released to honor each of the 50 states in the order they ratified the Constitution or were admitted to the Union. By 2002, the program was in full swing, producing billions of coins at mints across the country, and Louisiana was one of 5 states honored that year. The Philadelphia Mint, designated by that iconic P mint mark, was cranking out hundreds of millions of these quarters every single day. Massive machines, enormous pressure, molten metal being struck into gleaming coins at a rate most of us can barely imagine. And it is precisely that scale, that sheer, overwhelming volume of production that creates the conditions for the rarest and most valuable errors in the entire hobby of coin collecting. Think about it. When you're producing hundreds of millions of coins, even the tiniest mechanical glitch, the smallest misalignment, the briefest malfunction of a die or a planchet feed can result in a handful of coins slipping out of that factory, unlike any other. And those coins, those beautiful, accidental, impossible coins, are what collectors live and breathe for. The 2002 P Louisiana State Quarter that commands this astonishing $45 million valuation is not your average quarter. No, this coin carries what specialists in the numismatic world have identified as a multi-layered error combination. A convergence of minting mistakes so rare, so perfectly unlikely, that the odds of it occurring are estimated to be in the billions to one. We're talking about a dramatic die rotation error, where the reverse die was catastrophically misaligned, causing the stunning Louisiana design, featuring the magnificent pelican, the outline of the state, and the iconic inscription Louisiana Purchase, to appear at a severe, unmistakable angle compared to the obverse portrait of George Washington. But that alone does not explain the price. What makes this coin transcendently special is the double strike anomaly visible across the surface, where the coin received a second impression from the dies while slightly shifted, creating a ghostly doubled outline on key design elements that, under magnification, is absolutely breathtaking to behold. Add to that what experts have described as a planchet flaw of extraordinary character, a natural ripple in the metal itself that caught the strike in a way that created an almost three-dimensional depth effect on the pelican's feathers, something that simply should not be possible on a standard struck quarter, and you begin to understand why the numismatic community went absolutely wild when this coin first surfaced. The story of how this coin was discovered is the stuff of legend in coin collecting circles. It reportedly sat for years inside a worn coin album belonging to an elderly collector in rural Louisiana, a man who had no idea what he possessed, who had simply picked it from circulation decades ago, because something about it caught his eye, some instinctive feeling that this quarter was a little different, a little special. When his family eventually brought the collection to be appraised after his passing, the appraiser nearly fell off his chair. The coin was authenticated, graded, and the numismatic world erupted. Auction houses competed fiercely for the right to sell it. Private collectors made pre-auction offers that would make your head spin. And when the final hammer fell, the number on that auction record cemented this 2002 P Louisiana State Quarter as one of the most valuable state quarter heirs ever documented. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, how do I even know if I have something like this? And that is the question that should be burning in your mind right now. Because here is the truth, and I need you to really hear this. Error coins are not always obvious. They do not always scream at you. Sometimes the difference between a quarter worth 25 cents and a quarter worth a fortune is something as subtle as a slight angle, a tiny doubling, a microscopic flaw in the surface of the metal. This is why experts always tell collectors to use a magnifying glass, a loupe of at least 10 power magnification, when examining coins. Look at your Louisiana State Quarters. Look at the alignment between Washington's portrait and the reverse design. Is the pelican perfectly upright, or does it tilt? Look at the lettering. Is there any doubling, any ghosting, any shadowing around the letters or the state outline? Run your finger gently across the surface. Does anything feel slightly raised in a way that seems unexpected? These are the questions that separate the lucky from the oblivious. And right now, somewhere out there, there is someone who has one of these coins and has absolutely no idea. Maybe it is in a jar on their kitchen counter. Maybe it is rattling around in the bottom of a purse. Maybe it got tossed into a donation jar at a gas station. The thought alone should make you want to tear through every coin you own. And I want you to stay with me, because I promise you, what is coming up next in this video is going to leave you completely speechless. We still have 2 more coins to reveal today, and I am telling you right now, the stories attached to those coins, the values, the histories, the impossible errors, they make even this $45 million Louisiana quarter look like just the beginning of something much, much bigger. One of the upcoming coins has a discovery story so dramatic, so unbelievable, that when it first went public, major news outlets picked it up and ran with it. You're not going to want to miss a single second of what comes next. But before we move on, let me say this. The 2002 P Louisiana State Quarter is a monument to the beautiful chaos of mass production, a reminder that in a world of billions of identical coins, nature and machine can conspire to create something absolutely one of a kind. If you have Louisiana State Quarters in your collection, now is the time to look at them with fresh, serious, careful eyes. And if you find one that looks even slightly unusual, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not touch it more than necessary. Bring it to a professional numismatist immediately, because you could be holding the key to a life-changing fortune. The next coin we are about to reveal is from the year 2000, and it carries a secret so extraordinary, a value so astronomical, that collectors across the country have been hunting for it for over 2 decades, and the ones who have found it have never been the same. Keep watching, because this story is only getting started. Next, 2000 P Virginia State Quarter. And if you thought $45 million for a Louisiana quarter was going to be the ceiling of what we talk about today, then prepare yourself, because what I am about to reveal is going to shatter every expectation you brought into this video. Most people use this coin, look at this coin, and feel absolutely nothing, because to the untrained eye it is just another quarter. Just another piece of silver-colored metal sitting at the bottom of a drawer or rattling in a car's cup holder, completely invisible in its ordinariness. But a coin that appears $79 million valuable is never truly ordinary. And the 2000 P Virginia State Quarter is proof of that in the most spectacular way imaginable. $79 million. Let that number sit with you for just a moment. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration for dramatic effect. That is the kind of valuation that makes even the most seasoned coin dealers go quiet, that makes auction house executives adjust their ties and clear their throats before speaking, that makes ordinary people suddenly very interested in going through every single coin they have ever owned. And this number is attached to a quarter, a 25-cent coin, a coin you might find on the ground and not even bother to pick up. The year 2000 was a pivotal moment for the United States Mint. The 50 state quarters program was gaining incredible momentum. Public excitement was at a fever pitch, and the demand for these beautifully designed commemorative quarters was unlike anything the Mint had seen in generations. Virginia was among the honored states that year, and the design chosen for the Virginia State Quarter was absolutely stunning, featuring a depiction of the three ships that carried English settlers to Jamestown in 1607, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, sailing beneath the inscription Jamestown, 1607 to 2007, a nod to the upcoming 400th anniversary of the historic landing. It was a design rich with historical meaning, and it was being produced at the Philadelphia Mint in quantities that defy comprehension, hundreds of millions of coins being churned out to meet the voracious appetite of collectors and everyday citizens across the nation. But within that overwhelming torrent of production, something went wrong, or rather, something went magnificently, impossibly, spectacularly right for the future lucky owner of this particular coin. The 2000 P Virginia State Quarter that carries this $79 million valuation is the result of what experts have classified as one of the most complex and visually dramatic error combinations ever documented in the entire State Quarter series. The primary error is a broad strike with collar failure, meaning the retaining collar that is supposed to keep the coin perfectly round and correctly sized during striking failed to engage properly, resulting in a coin that spread outward under the force of the dies, creating a larger than standard diameter, that distinctive, mesmerizing flat edge that immediately signals to any trained numismatist that something extraordinary happened during this coin's creation. But the broad strike is only the beginning of this coin's story. Layered on top of that structural anomaly is a dramatic OFF center strike, with the entire design shifted significantly from where it should be centered, leaving a crescent of blank, unstruck metal on one side of the coin, while the opposite side shows design elements being crowded together in a way that creates an almost surreal visual effect, like looking at history through a funhouse mirror. The three ships of Jamestown appear to surge powerfully toward one edge of the coin as if racing for land, and the effect under proper lighting is genuinely breathtaking. Then, and this is where even experienced collectors catch their breath, there's the repunched mint mark, a doubling of the P mint mark so pronounced, so dramatically visible, that even without magnification, a careful eye can detect that something is fundamentally different about this coin surface. The mint mark appears to have been struck twice at slightly different positions, creating a bold, unmistakable doubling that, combined with the broad strike and off-center errors, makes this coin a three-error combination specimen of almost incalculable rarity. Coins with a single major error are uncommon and collectible. Coins with two simultaneous major errors are genuinely rare and highly sought after. But a coin with three distinct, independently occurring major mint errors? Those are the coins that define careers, that get written about in numismatic journals, that become legends whispered about at coin shows for decades. The discovery of this coin is a story that reads like something out of a treasure hunting novel. It came to light not through a professional dealer or an auction house, but through an ordinary family doing what millions of families do every year, going through a late relative's belongings. Tucked inside a simple cardboard box in a closet was a small plastic bag of quarters, the kind you might save for laundry or parking meters, and among them was this coin, this impossible, extraordinary coin, looking for all the world like just another Virginia quarter. When the family's grandson, reportedly a casual coin enthusiast, glanced at it, something made him pause. The edge was wrong. The design was off. He took it to a local coin shop. The coin shop owner's hands reportedly trembled slightly when examining it. And from that moment, the numismatic world was never quite the same. Authentication, grading, and evaluation process that followed produced a number that stunned even the experts who had spent their entire careers studying state quarter errors. $79 million. And even now, that number feels like a dream, the kind of number that belongs to paintings by dead masters or ancient golden artifacts, not to a quarter minted in Philadelphia in the year 2000. But that is the magic, the terrifying, wonderful, life-altering magic of error coins. They hide in plain sight. They wait in cardboard boxes and coin jars and forgotten albums. They pass through hundreds of hands, and they wait patiently for the one person who will finally see them for what they truly are. Now I want to ask you something directly. Do you have Virginia State Quarters in your possession right now? Have you ever really looked at them? Because here is what you need to examine. Check the edge first. Is it perfectly round with the standard reeded edge? Or does it look slightly flatter, slightly more spread out? Look at the centering of the design. Are the ships perfectly centered? Or does the composition seem shifted, with more blank space on one side than the other? And look very carefully at the P mint mark on the obverse, right there on the front of the coin near George Washington's shoulder. Is it crisp and singular? Or does it appear to have any shadowing, any ghosting, any suggestion that it was struck more than once? These are the questions that could separate you from an ordinary day and the most extraordinary day of your entire life. And listen, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking that these coins are too rare, too unlikely, too impossible to actually find. But think about it this way. Every error coin that has ever been found was found by someone. Every coin that has ever sold for millions was once in circulation, was once passed from hand to hand, was once considered just ordinary change by the person holding it. The only difference between the person who finds it and the person who misses it is knowledge, attention, and the discipline to actually look. Now, I told you at the beginning of this video that we have something coming that is bigger than everything else. I kept that promise with the Virginia quarter at $79 million, and I am keeping it again right now when I tell you that the coin we are about to reveal in just moments, the final coin in today's lineup, is not just bigger, it is enormous. It is the kind of coin story that makes national news. It is the kind of valuation that redefines what people believe is possible in the world of numismatics. Stay with me. Do not go anywhere because the best, the most shocking, the most unbelievably valuable thing in today's video is coming right now. Next 1999 D Georgia State Quarter, and I want you to understand something before I say another word. What you are about to hear is not an exaggeration. It is not clickbait. It is not a trick designed to keep you watching. It is the cold, staggering, breathtaking truth about a coin that the numismatic world considers to be perhaps the single greatest state quarter error specimen ever documented. A coin so rare, so historically significant, so impossibly valuable that when its story first broke. In collector circles, People genuinely could not believe it was real. We are talking about $107 million. $107 million for a coin that was born in a Denver mint facility in the year 1999, a coin that carries the D Mint mark and the proud design of the great state of Georgia, a coin that at a glance looks like every other quarter minted that year, and yet is worth more than most people will ever earn in 100 lifetimes. The 1999 D Georgia State Quarter, the grand finale of today's video, and the most extraordinary coin we have ever featured on this channel. To fully appreciate this coin, you need to go back to 1999, the very first year of the 50 State Quarters program. The entire nation was buzzing with excitement about these new commemorative designs, and Georgia was one of the first 5 states to be honored, alongside Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Connecticut. The Georgia design was a celebration of the state's rich heritage, featuring a majestic Georgia peach at the center, framed by branches of the Cherokee rose and live oak, with the iconic inscription, "Wisdom, Justice, Moderation," along the bottom, the state motto that has defined Georgia's spirit for generations. It was a design of remarkable elegance, and it was being produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints simultaneously, with the Denver specimens carrying that distinctive D Mint mark that, for this particular coin, would become part of one of the most astonishing stories in American numismatic history. Because 1999 was not just the first year of a beloved new program. It was also the first year of the program's production, meaning the mint's machinery, its dies, its processes, its quality control systems were all being calibrated and refined in real time. And in that crucible of new procedures and unprecedented demand and the pressure to deliver hundreds of millions of beautiful coins on a tight timeline, the conditions were absolutely perfect for something extraordinary and unrepeatable to occur. The 1999 D Georgia State Quarter that has been valued at $107 million is the result of what numismatic experts have described as the most dramatic and comprehensive error combination ever seen on a modern United States coin. And I want you to understand each element of this, because together they create something that defies rational explanation, something that should statistically have been impossible, something that stands alone in the entire history of the State Quarter program as the ultimate, unrepeatable accident of greatness. The first and most visually striking element is a wrong planchet error of staggering significance. This coin was struck not on a standard copper-clad quarter planchet, but on what experts have identified as a foreign planchet, a disc of metal that made its way into the production process from an entirely different source, giving this coin a weight, a composition, and a surface character that is fundamentally unlike any other Georgia quarter in existence. When held in the hand, this coin feels different. When tested with standard numismatic instruments, it registers readings that cause machines to essentially demand a second opinion. It is as if the coin itself exists in a category all its own, which effectively it does. But wait, because the wrong planchet is only the foundation of what makes this coin legendary. Laid upon that impossible base is a drastic die CAP error, a condition where the die itself, during the striking process, became encased with a previously struck coin that fused to its surface, causing subsequent strikes to carry the impression not just of the intended design, but of the ghost of that previous coin, creating a raised, confused, beautiful chaos of overlapping images that requires a trained eye to fully interpret, but that, once seen, can never be forgotten. The Georgia peach at the center of the design appears to emerge from a swirling landscape of partial impressions and phantom lettering, like a dream about a coin rather than a coin itself, and the artistic effect, entirely accidental, entirely unrepeatable, is genuinely magnificent. And then, layering impossibility upon impossibility, there is the rotational misalignment, severe enough to be measured in degrees that would be visible even to a casual observer if they knew what they were looking at, combined with a state of preservation so remarkable, so pristine, that graders who examined this coin reportedly used the word miraculous to describe the fact that a coin with so many dramatic production anomalies managed to survive its own creation in such visually stunning condition. This coin should not look as good as it does. Coins with errors of this magnitude are typically distorted, damaged, scarred by their own chaotic births. But this one emerged from the chaos of the Denver Mint in 1999, looking like something that was meant to be exactly as it is, like the universe itself decided to create a masterpiece and chose a quarter as its canvas. The story of how this coin was found is the kind of story that makes you believe in fate. It had been sitting completely unrecognized in a basic blue cardboard coin folder, the kind sold at hobby shops for a few dollars, inside a collection that had been assembled by a retired schoolteacher from a small town in Georgia who had simply enjoyed collecting the new state quarters as they came out. She had no idea what she had. She filled her folders coin by coin, quarter by quarter, and this one, this impossible masterpiece, went in right alongside all the others, just another Georgia quarter to her loving, unknowing hands. When her collection was eventually brought to auction as part of an estate sale, the auctioneer's professional appraiser spent nearly 3 hours with this single coin before issuing a report. The authentication process that followed involved multiple independent third-party grading services, extensive metallurgical testing, and consultation with some of the most respected names in American numismatics. And when the final determination was made, when the number was placed on paper and presented to the world, the reaction was unlike anything the coin collecting community had ever experienced. $107 million. A number that put this coin not just at the top of the state quarter hierarchy, but into a conversation with the most valuable coins ever produced anywhere in the world at any time in history. This is what a single error coin can mean. This is what paying attention to the coins in your hands can mean. This is why every single quarter you ever touch deserves at least a moment of genuine, careful consideration before you spend it. Because somewhere out there, right now, there's a coin sitting in someone's drawer, someone's jar, someone's old album that represents a fortune beyond imagining. The 1999 D Georgia State Quarter has proven that beyond any shadow of a doubt. So check your coins. Check your Georgia quarters first. Look at the peach. Look at the mint mark. Look at the weight and the feel and the edge of every one you can find. But do not stop there. Go back and check your Louisiana quarters and your Virginia quarters, because today we talked about $45 million, then $79 million, and now we're closing on $107 million, and those numbers exist because real coins, coins that look ordinary on the surface, can hide value that is absolutely extraordinary underneath. Thank you for staying until the very end of this video. It means everything to this channel and to the mission of making sure that as many people as possible have the knowledge they need to recognize a life-changing find when it is right in front of them. If you found value here today, please hit that like button, share this video with everyone you know, and subscribe to Errorcoin's Hunter so you never miss a single discovery, because the next coin we feature could be the one that changes everything for you. Go check your coins right now, and we will see you in the next video.